I was gonna say good morning, but hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Level Up with Dawn. Today we're going to be talking about what can go wrong in property. So let me tell you how this video idea came about. Okay, I was watching a video on property investment by another YouTuber. It was her and another lady from a development company. And the lady from the development company said, it's property. You can't go wrong with property. Let me tell you something. You can absolutely go wrong with property. I don't want to make this video to scare people into not going into property because I think it is definitely lucrative, but there are definitely mistakes that can be made that can really sour your taste going forward and going up the ladder, if you even choose to go up the ladder, if you've encountered some of these scenarios. The first thing that I've seen go wrong is buying a house on a main road or a main street. So if you are in commercial property, then this won't be a problem for you because I'm sure a lot of you have noticed as you're driving around, if a residential house is on a main street or on a very busy road, then those houses tend to become businesses, offices for businesses. So now, if you are buying your house that you want to live in on that street, if later on down the road you want to sell, it's going to make the selling process very difficult because business owners who are looking to buy property versus residents looking to buy property, the numbers are vastly different and they're very much skewed on the individuals who are looking to buy a property for a place for them to live in. But seeing that it's on a busy road, or that, I mean, I know sometimes I get anxiety just knowing that I'm going to a place where I need to cross traffic to turn into the entrance of that thing. Like that's, yeah. So if you're in a situation like that, or if your property is in a situation like that, that can make your life pretty difficult. The second thing that can go wrong is if you are buying your property or you have property in a degrading suburb. So, a lot of the argument for why you can't go wrong with property is because it's an appreciating asset. It's always going up in value. People always need a place to stay. And I think I've probably said that before in some of my videos, which is true. But there are special cases where in a degrading suburb, your property will not increase in value, it will decrease in value. People will start moving out of it, buildings will start becoming abandoned. And if you are in a suburb where this is increasing, you need to get out immediately. The reason why you bought this property for growth in capital and rental, those two reasons are going to suffer the most because if it's in a degrading neighborhood, how are you going to find a tenant who wants to live there? If you want to sell it later on down the line, are you even going to get back what you originally paid for it? So please, when you are choosing the suburb that you want to buy into, make sure you look over time, or just maybe as you have been traveling in your city, think of the neighborhoods that you have seen go down over time and stay clear of them, even though the properties in those spaces are probably really affordable and it looks like, oh, this is such a deal. I can get this property, I can get two of them, considering my affordability. But is it worth it? It might not be. A third thing that can go wrong is if you're buying on the higher end of the suburb average. So I don't know if you guys have seen, there's like especially in the housing market, okay? So you'll see neighborhoods where it's good houses, it's decent houses. You're still gonna need an electric fence, you're still gonna need, the response security. But then there's this one house where, yes, it's been renovated and it's beautiful, but then it's like probably 500 to a million to even a million and a half above what you normally see for houses in that suburb. Stay clear of those homes, okay? Unless you really love the suburb and you know that that's going to be your forever home, then 100% it makes sense. But if you are buying that property for investment purposes, or if you're hoping to sell it in the future as it appreciates, I think it's going to be difficult for you, just because people can get cheaper things in the same place and put in like a small lump sum of renovation to get it to that same level. And so it's hard to justify buying the best house in an okay suburb or buying the best house in an okay street, or even like a bad street, or even a bad suburb, because are you really going to get your money out? And like, also, I don't see the value in sticking out like a sore thumb, especially if crime is something that you are worried about. The fourth mistake that you could make in property is buying places that are not rentable, or at least not for a significant amount of time. So I've seen, especially in like the student areas, I've seen a lot of apartments. They take a one bedroom apartment and turn it into a 3 bed, 1 bath, where like each bedroom you can just fit one singular bed. And I don't understand how that makes sense, because if you do that, I understand that in that in that situation, and if you do get 3 people to live there in this apartment, which is supposed to be a 1 bedroom, um, your returns are higher because you're getting more rent, right? Your bond is like, that of maybe like a 3 to 500,000 rand bond, so it's not that bad. So your returns will be good, but that's if you can get people who are willing to stay there. Yeah, it's a lot more work, especially because you could find yourself finding a tenant every year. And finding a tenant is a lot of work. Listing and vetting people and viewings, it's a lot. So you need to be prepared to be doing that every year. You really will have to work for those higher returns if you're going to be doing that. For me personally, my philosophy is I only buy and rent out places that I would want to live in. That, like, if everything hit the fan, I had to sell everything except one apartment, and that apartment was it, I would be okay living there. I feel safe living there. I feel comfortable living there. But then those are more expensive. So just keep that in mind. I understand this is a business where people want the cash. They want the cash up front. But yeah, at what cost? The fifth mistake, or the fifth thing that can go wrong in property, is not being prepared for the tax bracket that you serve. So depending on who your tenant is, depending on the suburb that you buy in, you'll have tenants from various income brackets, right? And you can definitely skew your portfolio to only target certain tax brackets, but then of course that's going to cost you a lot more money. A lot of people are starting off providing property to lower income tax brackets because it's more accessible and it's an easier way to get on the ladder. But if you're not, you need to be prepared for the dynamics that come with these different tax brackets. So with lower tax brackets, and I mentioned this a little bit before in the previous thing that could go wrong, you are more likely open to tenants not being able to pay rent, and so then you need to decide. I don't even want to say what kind of landlord you're going to be, because it's not a reflection on your character, because it is a business. But you need to decide how you will operate in this business. So, are you going to be a landlord who gives grace and understands the situation that people are in and just give them that time to get back on their feet? Or are you going to be that landlord who's like 30-day notice, start the legal process, eviction, you know? So, and with both of those, you need to be prepared because they have consequences, right? They're both costly, the one in the absence of money, the one in the presence of fees. And so, mm, yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, especially in South Africa. With tenants in higher tax brackets, you need to be prepared for the maintenance costs because they will come in sooner. They will come in at an earlier stage of the maintenance being done because people are paying a lot of rent to live in your property. And so if that thing is leaking, it better stop. If that nail is out of place, it better be put back. If that paint is chipped, it better be repainted. So that's something that you need to be prepared for. In order to be able to be worthy of those high rents that you are charging your tenants. In general, I don't know if this will be a 6 or if it's a 5.5, but in general, one thing that can go wrong, even when you are living in the property that you own, is not being prepared for the maintenance expenses. Um, roofs can leak, geysers can burst. Recently, I had a power surge in my neighborhood, so like appliances were exploding left, right, and center. So you need to have a nest egg on the side that doesn't get touched, and it just perpetually grows because anything can happen. And also, please, like, have insurance. Make sure you have insurance. If you're in an apartment, you probably do. It's in the levies. If you own a home that has a bond, more likely than not, they'll force you to get homeowners insurance. If you live in a house that doesn't have a bond and you don't have insurance, please get it. It's so important. But yeah, I mean, property is great. Like, don't get me wrong, property is great. But the rhetoric around, oh, nothing can go wrong with property. If you're not getting tenants, then just sell it. No, you can't just sell. And I'm gonna do another video on selling property and how expensive it actually is, especially if you're a person who's in distress. You can't just sell property if you need cash, because you need cash to sell property. But we'll talk about that in another video. But I hope this helped. I hope this helped to round out all the information that you're receiving in terms of property when you're trying to get into the market or when you're trying to ramp up in the market. Keep an eye out for these things because they can really cripple you and your portfolio and leave a bad taste in your mouth. So just write these down somewhere, tell a friend, put it on your phone so that you can always keep these in mind when you're looking for new property or when you're trying to restructure, because that's what I'm doing at the moment. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.